The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, translation by Chip Hartranft. Chapter 1, Samadhipad, Integration. 1.15. As for non-reaction, one can recognize that it has been fully achieved when no attachment arises in regard to anything at all, whether perceived directly or learned. As for non-reaction, one can recognize that it has been fully achieved when no attachment arises in regard to anything at all, whether perceived directly or learned. दृष्टानुश्रविक विषय वितृष्णस्य वशीकार संज्ञा वैराग्यम. दृष्टानुश्रविक विषय वितृष्णस्य वशीकार संज्ञा वैराग्यम. The individual words in Sanskrit when broken down are दृष्ट अनुश्रविक विषय वितृष्णस्य वशीकार संज्ञा vairagyam. Once again, the individual Sanskrit words are drishta anushravika vishaya vitrishnasya vashikar sangya vairagyam. The meaning of each word is as follows. Drishta, seen, perceptible, or actually experienced, that which has already been experienced. Although drishta literally means that which has been seen, the implication here is anything that has already been experienced. Anushravika, heard, learned. Again, the literal meaning of anushravika means that which has been listened to, heard. Shravana means to listen. So anushravika means that which has been heard, that which has been listened to. That is the literal meaning. But the implied meaning here is that which has not yet been experienced. So together, drishta and anushravika means those experiences of life which we have either already experienced or those experiences which we have not yet experienced but want to experience in the future. Vishaya means an experience or a sense object or a phenomena or an object of experience, the thing which is an experience of the world or worldly object or worldly experience or worldly pleasure. Vitrishnasya, without wanting or without attachment. The root word here is trishna. Trishna means desire, desiring for something that we don't have. And vitrishna means without desire. So, being desireless of all kinds of worldly experiences, whether they have already been experienced by you or they have not yet been experienced by you, but you wanted to experience them before you started practicing yoga. Vashikara, a level of mastery, control, willing something to happen, complete husbandry, complete control over something. Sangya, the state of comprehension. Vairagyam, dispassion or detachment or non-reaction or non-attachment. We've come across this word. So the individual Sanskrit words are drishta anushravika vishaya vitrishnasya vashikara sangya vairagyam. Once more, drishta anushravika vishaya vitrishnasya vashikara sangya vairagyam. And when read together, the entire sutra sounds like this. दृष्टानुश्रविक विषय वितृष्णस्य वशीकार संज्ञा वैराग्यम. दृष्टानुश्रविक विषय वितृष्णस्य वशीकार संज्ञा वैराग्यम. As for non-reaction, one can recognize that it has been fully achieved when no attachment arises in regard to anything at all, whether perceived directly or learned. As for non-reaction, one can recognize that it has been fully achieved when no attachment arises in regard to anything at all, whether perceived directly or learned. Narrator's comments. An alternative explanation, which does not alter the meaning but amplifies it, of this sutra can be as follows. Anything that has already been experienced, or those experiences which you wanted to experience but you haven't yet experienced, abandoning the desire for all such experiences is called detachment or vairagya. This sutra is clarifying what detachment or vairagya means. Track back a few sutras and it said the two components of yoga are abhyasa and vairagya. The practice, meaning the practice of meditation, practice of your choice which leads you into a meditative state which you go back to again and again, is practice, and vairagya is dispassion or detachment towards worldly pleasures. The next sutra tried to clarify what practice is. That practice is the sustained effort to go back there again and again. He didn't dictate to us specifically an exercise, but said whatever you do to quieten your mind, going back there again and again is the practice. The sutra after that gave us more information about practice, saying that the practice will bear fruit only if it is cultivated skillfully, with great care, with great reverence, and nurtured and developed over a long period of time of many, many, many years. That is, we are not to expect results from yoga instantly, although there will be instant results also, but the nature of those results will be different from the kind of results you will receive from an elongated practice of yoga that stretches over many, many, many years. So go into yoga without any expectation of results, simply because there is no alternative. You've seen the follies of a worldly life of sensory bombardment and pleasure and hedonism, and you want to turn back into a more quiet life. Go into yoga with that expectation, with devotion for the divine, with devotion for God, with love for God, and without expecting anything. Then the results will come instantly also. Instantly you will get satisfaction, you will get peace, you will find yourself elated, sometimes in joy. Many tears may come out, sometimes you'll find yourself releasing all toxins from your emotional body. But the real fruits of yoga will be achieved when this practice is cultivated and nurtured skillfully over a very long time. And this sutra clarifies what detachment means and tells us detachment is the state in which all desire for the world, for worldly enjoyments, for worldly pleasures, worldly experiences have been extinguished or abandoned by the seeker, knowing them all to be futile. Often it is the case that things we already experienced and we liked them, we want to repeat them again and again. That's the case with the common man, with anyone, with you and with me. We always have on our agenda or our wish list some of the things we've already experienced that we wish to repeat. The yogi does not nurture such desires, and even if those desires do crop up in his own mind also, but he's practiced again and again to avoid those desires. When those thoughts arise, when those impulses to repeat previously experienced experiences arise, he just ignores them. He doesn't actually have to make any effort to abandon them. They're very distasteful to his palate. And so they come up less frequently in his mind until they stop coming at all, and he becomes completely apathetic towards such desires, and they leave him for good. So his mind becomes very quiet and still. And the second kind of desires are those we didn't experience, but we wanted to at one point of time. Now After being initiated into yoga, meaning after a kind of spiritual depression from the world, seeing that the world is full of falsehood and there's nothing to be actually gained from attaching one's mind to the world, we pull our mind away from the world, and so we also cross those desires that we earlier had, that we had not yet experienced. So the yogi's mind is such that it is free of all desire and hence quiet. Truly, it is detachment from the world that gives peace and quiet.